ladies and gentlemen, Tatyana is about to come on and just blow your minds in terms of being a transformed human being, getting your message out, stepping into your power. So much good stuff. Like, she is a wealth of knowledge, so make sure you stay tuned because we are just getting started. Briefly, I'm talking to you because you're a world-changing human being. I want to support you in getting your message out in a bigger way. If it's coming on the 12-hour marathon, let's do that. If it's launching your own podcast, let's do that. If it's whatever else I can do to support you, let's do that. I would love to have a conversation with you, see how we can grow together. Find me on Instagram at IamMillionaireChris. Find me on Facebook, facebook.com/th3burns. Send me an email, chris@beyourgps.com. Whatever method of communication you prefer, would love to hear from you and hear how we can keep growing together and supporting each other and being our greatest possible selves. Talk soon. Next up is the iTunes review of the week. This week it's by Bulletproof Bowdy. And Bulletproof says, Chris is contagious. This host has big energy and it's inspiring. The way he shows up is impressive and he has a great array of guests. Thanks so much, Bulletproof. If you want to continue tuning into this GPS goodness, expanding yourself, awakening yourself, growing your greatness, then you can go subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts. Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self is there. So definitely stay tuned and keep growing with us. And if you want to give us a review, give us some feedback. We love receiving those on iTunes. And let us know what you love and what you want to see even more of in the coming episodes. Thanks so much in advance. I'm going to introduce Miss Tatyana Gann in just a second here. Before that, grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, be ready to take notes because this woman is going to share the gold with you so you can step into your GPS. Make sure you stay all the way through to the end of the interview because one idea, which I know Tatyana is going to have a ton of gold and great ideas, but one of those, just one, has the ability to transform the rest of your life. So you don't want to miss out on that. You want to stay tuned, stick it through all the way through. Let's introduce Tatyana and we'll bring her on the screen. Tatyana is the founder of Tatyana Gann and recently launched the Gutsy Woman Project. Tatyana is a publicity consultant and transformational coach, and she came to this country with $200 to her name 25 years ago as a college scholar, and later she became a teacher, a coach, and a writer. She's a mom of 2 teenage boys and loves hiking, reading, and cooking French and Greek food. And we're blessed to have her here with us today. Tatyana, are you ready to rock the house, Superwoman?
I am.
Awesome.
I don't have my cape on, but I'm a Superwoman.
I love it. I love it.
I have 2 teenage boys who've been, since childhood, all they did is wearing capes. And one child was Batman and one is Robin. So I was raised by superheroes.
Wow, I love it.
I was raised by 2 superhero boys. So who became actually my biggest why I do what I do nowadays. So my kids
incredible.
inspire me. They say parents inspire kids. My children have been, my inspiration. And I just want to say thank you so much for hosting me tonight, and I appreciate Misty to introducing us. So I'm really grateful.
Misty Gilbert is an incredible superwoman herself, and specifically this conversation of authenticity. She's total champion for authenticity, and I appreciate you being here, making the time out of your schedule, Tatyana, because you have kids, you have people who you're serving, clients, and you're changing the world. So I really appreciate you making the time to come on here and really inspire and empower our audience with transformation. And specifically, we're going to start off with that message of being unapologetically authentic. And we want to hear what that means to you and how it's impacted your life, Tatyana.
Actually, I love it. I say we need to stop apologizing for being who we are.
Yeah.
When I came to this country 25 years ago, I was a skinny little girl. I say, I was 19, I probably looked like I was 15. With a little suitcase, literally, and with $200 to my name, and didn't know what I was entering. But I remember that as soon as I came in this country, and it was in August '94, I just saw different people, and everybody was so different, and everybody was unique. People were not afraid to be themselves. And it took me time to understand that it's okay to be who you are. But sometimes it takes time to discover who you are, because we live in a world that puts labels on us, how we should be. And then we think that way. This is how we should be. I mean, I grew up in a family of teachers. My father was probably the only one crazy who had entrepreneurial mindset. So he says that I inherited that from him and the teaching side from my mom. And all my life, I wanted to be a teacher. And so for me, being, authentic, it means just saying it's okay. It's accepting my gift. And it took a long time. It took a long time to really say, this is what I love doing, and I'm fine with it. And self-acceptance of your gift, that's to me is huge. And I tell my kids the same way, I want you to be yourself. It means you need to discover your gifts. You need to discover your talents. It may change. It may evolve. As we, not just kids grow up, we adults grow up, as we go through different transformational seasons. So, and that's what to me is being, authentic. It's accepting yourself as you are and using that to help other people.
I love it. I love it. And you can only show up and serve other people with your gifts when you love yourself, when you accept yourself, when you are just being you, not trying to be someone else. Because if you're trying to use or wear someone else's gifts, those aren't your gifts, and you're not going to make the impact and really make the difference that you're capable of. And I know you're amazing at empowering people to own their gifts and share those gifts with the world through public relations, through coaching. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about what your clients come to you for and what you stand for, Tatyana?
Well, it's interesting. My background, I was a college teacher. I was teaching Russian as a second language. I was teaching English as a second language overseas. And when my kids were little, I decided that I'm going to kind of a jump in the world of online marketing, so I can be at home with them. But it's interesting. What happened is I was planning to go back and get my PhD and become a college teacher. That was kind of, the plan, but God had a different plan. So, so I met a woman, and I'll just tell you the backstory. I met a friend, Maria. She was British. She lives in Dallas, and she introduced me to the world of public relations. Wow. Even though my degree was in English and writing, and I fell in love with journalism, I never kind of put two together how I can use it. I just wanted to be a teacher, teach English or Russian, or just being a linguist. And so my journey to become a publicist started when I started promoting other people's products. Right. And just writing a press, media stories. People start coming to me and saying, wow, you're getting so many hits, you're number one. They're looking at me as authority. Then something really hit me. I'm like, wow, I can actually teach that. Yeah. So I started teaching that to other people and start helping other people as well. So it kind of was a natural process. So, sometimes when we force our gifts, or we try to force something else, it never works out. But when you use your talents, and you just use them and you're having fun with them, you have results. And so that's how my publicity work started. But during the working with clients, not every client could see themselves as I could see them. My intuition will, I would be inspired writing stories about them, pitching media, and they would look at my stories as are you talking about me? And I said, what's the problem? They're like, I don't see myself this way. So that kind of pushed me to become transformational coach years later, just to help people in business. We all want to have a business, but if you don't have the mindset, no desire is going to make it work.
Nope.
You're going to be stuck. You're going to be mentally, emotionally stuck and frustrated. And you will not understand why. And that's how my journey becoming a transformational coach has started. I officially became certified in 2014. And my journey of becoming a life coach started helping people who were going through divorce. Because at that time, I was also going through divorce. And just my passion starting healing modalities and then incorporating that and helping my clients to share the message. And so I would say I'm a creative, innovative publicist.
That's amazing.
Just because I like to show people, here's your story, here's your gift.
Yeah.
But you've got to see yourself that way. And I help them to see themselves in a different light. And when they see, then everything changes.
It's amazing. This is so beautiful. So you went from teaching, right? Teaching English and Russian to studying marketing because you wanted to stay home with your kids, right? And wanted to spend more time with them.
I mean, they were, newborn, and I had 2 in diapers,
Yeah.
So it was not idea. When I saw the daycare system here, I'm like, I am not putting my kids in the daycare, and the cost of it, like I'm going to be living my entire paycheck for the daycare and the food for my children when I can just do this at home.
Yeah.
So that's how my journey, I think when you accept your gift and you just, sometimes it's hard to accept gift. And being a publicist and being a coach, I had that resistance as well.
Right.
Like, how can I be a life coach and how can I be a publicist? 2 different things. But one thing I do, I help people when they share their story to the world, when they share like a movie story, transformation. It's not just helping them. They're able to impact other people. And that's what publicity is. Yeah. It's not about you have a brand new product. Nowadays, people want to be touched by a story. Yeah. And that's what I believe. That's kind of my trademark. Sometimes I say I help people to heal through sharing their story.
Wow. So what do we need to know to really start mastering our story so that we can transform ourselves, we can launch ourselves into greater impact, greater service to the planet?
A lot of people come to me and they say, but I'm not an expert. And it's okay, you're not an expert in that. But what have you learned over the years? Yeah. I had a lady come to me just recently, and she wrote a book about traveling the world and parenting. And she wanted that book to be used for homeschooling society. And I homeschooled my kids when they were little. So she couldn't see herself as an expert, but she could share her life lessons of being a parent and traveling around the world and just giving that platform and sharing her life lessons. That's her journey. What and how it can help other people, how it helped her. Yeah. And what was the turning point when she realized that her lessons are actually, significant. And so I think we all have a significance. We just don't look back in the past 5 to 10 years or even a year. Some people go through life changes, in 6 months. And they go from having everything to nothing to going through, personal challenges and life challenges. And they come out of it. And they say, this is what I've learned. They can be an inspirational speaker. We often think you have to be an expert and have a degree in that. It's not. People just need to be able to relate. And I think to be able to emotionally touch person, their soul and wake something up in them, and so other people see, wow, you've been through the same thing. Even if it's just a group of 20 people. you make a difference. I mean, that's how mastermind starts, 10, 15 people. So personally is looking at your life experiences. Because I know people who worked in the corporate environment and decided actually take that and experience and create educational courses for people who could benefit from that. Yeah, they had an experience, but I have known people who've been through life and death, and they went from being, obsessed about money and career to being passionate about health and wellness and changing their lives. So we all have something. It's a matter of us recognizing it. And that's what I help them with a set of questions. I think knowing your wow factor, you hear about wow factor. Who are you? What are you here for? And the question I always ask, how do you want people to remember you? How do you want people talk about you when you're not there?
Yep.
What is something that your friends love you for? My friends used to call me a therapist, and they would come to my house, and I love to cook, and so they call it Tatyana's therapy. Because it was more than the food.
Yeah.
It was everything has a story. Everything we do has a story. I think that's how people are going by nowadays, because they see the story through the image, through the video, through the book. And that's what, not being afraid, not being afraid to be authentic and vulnerable, because when we're vulnerable, that's when we're strong. And people will be able to relate to you more. And that's what that's why I would start.
Yeah, that's amazing. When is the right time for someone to seek PR and to pitch themselves to the media?
When they have at least foundation, if they have at least, don't wait until your book is out, or don't wait until your product is out. Start building awareness about who you are. Because, if nobody knows you, you have small chance of being, known. So start developing yourself and start letting people know what you stand for. Create a voice. One of my clients, she actually was in an interview today, Tina. She's got an amazing book coming out, and and I love what she does. And she's been working very diligently on, becoming known and learning how to get it. And she gets excited when she learns something. So I think when you also learn skills, so don't wait to hire a publicist because some people just, don't want to hire publicists. They would rather learn it. And I'm very passionate about teaching because once you learn it, then it's a skill that can go with you for the rest of your life for anything you do. But of course, if you want to hire publicists, yes, you can hire publicists, but you can't expect results sometimes the first month. So you have to be mentally prepared. Sometimes that it may take 90 days to 6 months if you haven't been known. Yeah, if you have 100,000 followers on Instagram or Facebook, it's easier. And you may not need a publicist because you already have a following. So I think some people think they need it, some people they don't. But nowadays, what the publicist does, years ago, it used to be, just doing press releases, sending pitches to few magazines, and that was it, or radio. But now we can actually reach people on Instagram and start building the relationship. We can find them on Twitter. We can find them on LinkedIn, and every platform has their own language. How you interact with them. So that's what I would do. I will just start researching and look at the content calendar. That's another thing that I recommend. Every magazine that you want to be in has an editorial calendar, and it will tell you what topics they accept and when do you need the content by. So once you learn, you can actually look and create for yourself a plan of action and say, okay, this month I can be in this, and work with your publicity coach or your marketing coach and craft a message and pitch, effectively, and build that relationship. Not 2 days before deadline, but months before. Yeah, so that's what I would do. I would look at the editorial calendars, and that's what, to me, it's huge in creating, effective publicity.
That's beautiful.
And knowing what people are actually accepting and see what kind of a content, the free things, the most popular is fitness, health, which includes fitness, spiritual, emotional health, nutrition, money. It's the other topic. Everything with finances, business. So those are very important topics nowadays that people want to know.
It's incredible. Great suggestions. And I also want to go into this aspect of when there's chaos in your life, how do you show up? I know that's a big part of you sharing and empowering people who are going through those challenging situations. What do we need to know when there's chaos going on around us?
You just get a punching bag and you just punch. And then you go on the screen and you smile.
Yes.
But reality, we all smile on the camera, but we don't know what happened just an hour before. My chaos was I was driving like a chauffeur today, for my kids, going here and there, and, being a mom of teenagers and being on the phone with clients and potential clients and just friends. And my son is listening to me. I feel like he was getting an education in the car. But when you're in the midst of chaos, what has personally helped me is meditation. Meditation, and I became very passionate about understanding how to take care of myself. Because when you're in the midst of chaos, the worst thing you can do is let yourself down. And not taking care of yourself. That's the very foundational basic principle. When I was going through divorce, and you would think like your world is falling apart, or you're going through some challenges, job loss, a transition, or anything, child sickness, I have been there. The only thing you can do is how you can get through that day. But the thing is, what you have to build like an anchor and awareness that you have a choice. In the midst of chaos, you have two choices. You either make it or you don't. That's it. It's a choice. And instead of saying, I want something, I want to feel better, I want to just, get through this, say, no, I choose. I will. There is a difference in our language patterns that will create different results. Because when we're not under pressure, everything is wonderful. The other thing when you're going through chaos is, how do you talk to yourself? Are you your harshest critic, or are you your best friend? That's when you have to be your best friend, is to find good in you, even when everybody sees the fault. I'm not saying you have to be egotistical and say I'm the best person in the world, but you have to find the best thing in you, things
well,
you
it's
love.
like if there's contrast, if there's chaos, if there's difficult things, like if you have positive self-talk, then you're resilient. You're able to keep moving forward. You don't get knocked off track. You don't get derailed. You don't get
Because
disempowered.
this
You're able to keep moving.
chaos is sometimes happens in our life as a result of our inner being. Sometimes we can control certain circumstances, but if you look at the lot of circumstances that are created in our life, they come as a result of our thinking and how we see ourselves. And then we wonder why we're dealing with this situation the way it is, because it's not the most healthy. And we try to change it, and we try to like kind of patch it up in the midst of chaos, instead of, there's 3 areas you have to focus is your self-care. Go hiking, go punching the bag, go exercise, go dance, go do whatever to get yourself moving. I started doing Tai Chi. It's one of the things, I never thought I would be doing Tai Chi. I never thought I would be doing meditation. When my friend told me you need to start doing yoga, I said no over my dead body. Because I went to hot yoga once and I almost died there. I'm like, I'm not going back there. But it was different. So when I used to think meditation is like a voodoo thing, that like I'm not making sounds, but it was more than that. It was, I learned deep breathing, to very deep and breathing techniques that actually can calm your energy and remove that storm that's happening in your head. And from that place, you can make decisions. From that place, you can make new choices. And it's different when there's a chaos and it looks like, electrical interference. You can't create anything. But when you're calm, you can make not just better choices, you're going to make the right choices.
Yeah, it's like when you're calm, you can see long-term impact and effects, and short-term versus.
And your intuition is going to be much better. You're going to be inspired. Like right before you and I started talking, I didn't make notes. I went ahead and I said, well, God used me.
Yes.
And I just breathed and I said, just God use me, let me have the best time and let me be of service to someone. But those 3 things I recommend everyone: self-care, how you talk about yourself to yourself when you're under the pressure, and your choices. Are you going to live in the pity party world? Or are you going to, I have been there, trust me, myself. When you feel like you've been whacked in the head with a frying pan in different situations, when I was going through divorce, when my son was diagnosed with autism, was in the hospital, when I was dealing with I went through the car accident, brain injury. I'm like, what else can happen? And the only thing you can do, and I have a wonderful mentor, Steven, and he, always say, be calm, reduce the stress. The other thing about choices is what I would say is sometimes we make choices, but the second question you can ask, will this choice add me more stress? Because we think we may make a new choice to be involved in something. We feel like we're sacrificing, ourselves. We want to prove something. But is that going to add stress? That's one thing I've learned, is that you don't have to make choices that cause stress. You don't need to be a superhero.
What about like growing pains? When you first start something, it's uncomfortable, it's difficult.
Well, that's a little different. sometimes we put ourselves in the difficult situations on purpose because we just want to prove ourselves that we're better, that we're stronger. There's a difference when you start a business and you realize and you accept there will be growing pains.
Yep.
You will be learning something new, and that's normal. It's going to be, situations and ups and downs. It's a part of a journey.
Yeah.
But if you're putting yourself in a toxic environment, for example, like, oh, I'm going to deal with this bully, or I'm going to deal with this toxic person, I'm going to accept this client even if I don't like them. You see what I mean? That's a choice that we make because we think I'm tough. Or I need the money and I'm just going to take this person to work with and I'll figure out later. You feel resistance if you don't feel it's the right thing. It's not.
Yeah.
The biggest thing during chaos or during any situation where you're going through transition in life, you have to listen to yourself and listen to that intuitive voice. I pray, I believe in divine creation, I believe in guidance, personal guidance, and I didn't used to. And that's the topic about being, we need to stop being apologizing to ourselves that we can actually be ourselves and saying no. I have people offering me like, oh, you can do this, you can do that. I say no, it's not for me. It sounds good. It's like dating a guy, or dating a girl. She may be wonderful package, but you don't feel it in your heart.
Right.
It's the same thing with business. You just can't, especially if you're owning a business, if you have passion, you need to stick to it and learn every skill that you can. Because when you are going through the growing pain, for example, Friday morning, I'm going to the training in Nashville for coaches. And do I want to get up at 6 a.m.? No. It's 8:30 in downtown. That means I have to leave at least an hour just to get there.
Wow. Because
of the morning traffic. But I'm going because that's a growing pain.
Yep.
It's getting out of a comfort zone.
Yeah.
And that's a little different than, when you get out of a comfort zone, what do you do?
Yeah.
How does it affect you? If going out, I always tell people, what do you want that's out of your comfort zone? Because if that makes you happy and it excites you, and if it's out of your comfort zone, go do it.
That's good.
Why do you want that out of your comfort zone? Because I would say safety zone is addiction.
Yeah.
People love safety zone. They want the same donut. They want the same coffee. They want the same pizza. They want wear the same dress. They want to look the same way. They don't want to grow. They don't want experiences. You see, they don't want experiences because they've never been allowing themselves because they were afraid. What if I look like an idiot?
Yeah. This is a powerful question. What do you want that's out of your comfort zone? Like, imagine if someone asked that every single day, like you would constantly be challenging those limits and asking yourself, what do I really want? That is behind the thing that I fear most. And it's like, to know that's like the greatest access to progress, to growth, to freedom, to everything that someone desires.
If you remember Joe Vitale, who was a part of Secret, he was known as Mr. Fire. Yeah. In one of his books, he said, what you fear the most, that's where your success is.
Yep.
You're sitting in it and you're afraid to get up. And you just waiting, you looking for something else that's in your comfort zone, but you're addicted. And that's what I told my client the other day. And I said, what do you want that's out of a comfort zone? And he said, I want to move to another country. And I'm 60. And I'm like, so? You're not 100.
Yeah.
You have desire. You have means to do that. You're learning another language. That's phenomenal. That's what I love about coaching, is because you open their eyes.
Yeah.
To say yes to themselves. That's another thing about chaos, is saying yes to yourself. So many women, especially women, moms, they will give everything to their children. And they give the last piece of food, and all their dreams comes last. I did this for many years because I thought I was doing the right thing. No, because kids see you, who you are. You are the model. And if they see that you're putting yourself last, they're going to do the same thing. So in the midst of chaos, give yourself a lot of self-love. And it's not just, massage therapy, which is wonderful, but language, working on yourself, closing the computer, cutting off the phone, allowing yourself journal. I know it sounds simple, but in the midst of chaos, ask yourself, what do I want to do that's out of my comfort zone?
Yeah, it's gold.
And what will be different? What is different if I do? What will be different?
That's good. That's good. How would life be different? It's like opening up possibility that was closed off before. Like we are not connected to what's possible. And when we are, then it pulls us forward. It's exciting. It's adventurous. It's really thrilling. And I know a big thing that you teach about as well as the Gutsy Woman Project. And that's something that you're really going for now. Tell us a little bit more about that and how it got started.
Well, Gutsy Woman Project has started as I watched a lot of women not being authentic and putting themselves last. But it comes the point in your life when you get sick and tired, and you're getting sick and tired of being that way. And you find that last string of courage to make a change. When I heard the word gutsy, I was like, this sounds like Great Gatsby almost. I was like, because it's different. It's not unstoppable. It's gutsy. And to me, Gutsy is the woman who is unstoppable, the woman who is fierce, the woman who has her voice. All those things that she is able to say no to people, and somebody who is able to express themselves without fear. And there was 3 areas, and the reason why it was my story. I went from having a successful business to going through divorce, experiencing losses to the point of being homeless. Finding myself in the midst of that was not easy. I remember I said, I'm going to write a book. I'm like, what is my content? And I was put through those challenges, I think, for a reason, to create the content, not just for my book, but to inspire other women that there is going to be a breakthrough, but you can't do something. You can't have it until you make a choice. And there's so many techniques you can use, as making choices, visualization, working on yourself, meditation, taking care of your body. A woman I've read the story the other day, a woman who was 450 pounds made a choice. And went to 150 pounds in 2 years. That's a gutsy woman. A woman who goes from having 3 jobs to making, 4 or 5 millions a year. That's a gutsy woman, because she made a choice. So when I watched all those women, including myself, what do we do and where we come from? We don't come. The gutsy women are not born. They become because of their choices. And so the Gutsy Woman is a project that inspires women to take care, again, 3 areas of their life: their health, their personal relationship with themselves and people in their life. Mm-hmm. Number 3 is like taboo or money. Because women are afraid sometimes to talk about money because they don't want to look too masculine. Mm. Because it's like, I don't want to have a money talk. I'm not a guy. I'm fine. But historically, even women have made less for the same amount of jobs than men. And it's time for women to, I'm not a feminist, but it's time for women to say, it's okay to use your skills and talents and be something. And inspire men and women. Because we all can learn. We're here to complement each other, not to compete. And that's my encouragement to all the successful women. Take other women under your wing. Pay it forward. Give back. And don't be afraid to serve someone. Help them launch their business. To me, that's what the Gutsy Project is about, is taking 3 areas of life that I personally have suffered myself and had to find a way to get out and get through hard times with my health, with my personal life, and my financial situation. I have been in both sides. There's a season for everything, and it's true. And so you just keep going. I remember when I came this country 25 years ago, I was not different than anybody else. But I remember sitting in my little apartment in Russia in the midst of winter. I would never forget, I would visualize myself coming to this country. I didn't know how it's going to happen. I just visualized, and I would take those pen pal magazines. Back then. There was no internet. Everybody was writing letters to everybody. That's how old I was, 18, 17, that's many moons ago. And then it happened. And I realized I was gutsy enough to have a wish. And the Gutsy Project is about women saying yes to what they want. That's all it's about. And recognizing, do I want to improve my health? Do I improve my finances? Do I want to improve my relationship with my family? Is saying it's okay to say yes to who you are. And it's okay to dream. I was a dreamer. Beatles songs. You just have to be.
I love this. And Tatyana, is there anything that we haven't yet covered that you feel is a core part of your philosophy or the message that you really want to get out to the world right now? Transformation, empowering our audience to step into their greatest possible self?
Don't be afraid to speak who you are. Don't be afraid to share your story. Because in your vulnerability, that will make you grow. That will make you already strong by sharing a story, by getting out and serving other people. You can't serve when you don't share. The most beautiful transformations don't come in the beautiful packages. They come like tornado went for the house, which my house been for tornado in the past, I can tell you. And but you learn from that. And so many women have something to share. Men have stories to share. And that's what I would say. Don't be afraid to share your story, because by sharing your story, you heal your soul.
I love it. So beautiful. This is incredible. And I know our audience getting tons of value out of this, and just hearing your wisdom, your mindset, how you've overcome serious challenges. And I want to keep them in the loop with you, stay connected with you, and so that they can take the next steps with you. How do they stay connected? What are their next steps they can take with you, Tatyana?
Well, they can follow me on Instagram. I love social media today. We're addicted to Instagram. That's my addiction. It's my secret. It's my Instagram and Facebook. But I'm a type of the person, you follow me on Instagram, send me a message and say, hey, let's get on the phone.
That's right.
I love connecting with people on the phone because I want to hear people's voices. I want to hear their story. I want to hear how I can help them. And don't be afraid. That's my message. Don't be afraid to help someone who needs the same help as you do. I've learned from my mentor is if you want success, help someone with the same thing you need.
That's beautiful.
You give your last penny, it's going to come back to you. You give somebody a client that is launching their business and they need that boost of confidence, give that client to them because you will have more clients even better. Just do something from your heart. Don't do with expectation. I think that's what I believe in. I mean, I believe in the world of, be a giver.
I love it.
So people can find me on Instagram, Tatyana Gann. That's my, username, or find me on Facebook and connect with me.
Easy peasy. And they can spell Tatyana, that's Tatyana. Gann is Gann. So Tatyana. That's how they find you. I love it. I love it. So we also definitely stay connected with Tatyana. And Tatyana, we got one more thing, and that is the minute to win it. That is a heartfelt, encouraging message to someone out there who might be struggling, who might need a dose of inspiration and encouragement to step into their greatest possible self. What do you got for them, Tatyana?
Don't be afraid to reach out to people for help. Drop your ego. You never know who is there for you. In today's world, we have so much access on Facebook groups of like-minded people. Just few days ago, I witnessed a lady in one of the women's group where there's like 200,000 women. It's a huge business group for women. And there was a lady was having a hard time in her business, and she was just devastated. You wouldn't believe how many people reach out to her to help her. Because we think people don't want to help, but when somebody's in need, I guarantee there are a lot of people will be glad, they could help someone. Because to me, it's a blessing to give. And it's a joy. It's like feeding somebody who doesn't have food, which I love to feed people in my house. Just bring joy to people. It brings joy to give. So because one day you're going to be in the same situation and you will understand that you will be able to give back. So don't be afraid to reach out for help, and please reach out to me and send me a message, and I would be more than happy to give them not just encouragement, but hopefully guidance.
I love it. I love it. Tatyana, you're doing amazing work in the world.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate you, and we'll see you soon, okay?
Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Have a good night.
Yes, promise.